guest is Barrister Tunji Abdulhameed. He is a legal practitioner, and we are so glad to have you join us this morning, Barrister. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's Friday, and you look like a Friday man. So this is my question, yeah? What are the primary objectives of financial regulation in the context of economic stability?
Yeah, the primary regulator of financial regulator in Nigeria, which generally is a Central Bank of Nigeria, because the CBN is a major regulator of our financial institution in Nigeria. And that's why it's called the banker of banker, and then it checks all the banks. In order, they have a role to play in ensuring stability in our economy. Without proper regulation, without proper rules and regulations, or without proper check and balances, there cannot be accountability, there cannot be transparency, and there won't be stability in the system. In other words, again, there will be unfairness on the part of what we call consumer or customers. There will be a situation whereby people who have money, in other words, if you make it a free market where there's no regulation, nobody is regulating you. Those who have money will use their money to lure people to bring money to them, and then they will squander the money and nothing will happen. So the role of regulator here is to ensure that, look, we have what we call financial stability. For instance, too, they also go beyond that. They protect customers, and they ensure that, look, things are very easy for us to do. E.g., the issue of ensuring there's an availability of cash or whatever money you want to take is their role. Because without availability of cash in the system, there's no way economic movement will move. So there must be a regulator that will determine how cash movement will be done. You cannot just make it free for everybody to just say, look, any way I like to move my cash, this is the way I do it. But unfortunately, these are regulators most times have not been doing their job properly. They've not been doing the right thing. I'm saying so because let me give a simple example that is general to everybody. The issue of a non-availability of cash in the system. And a situation whereby you go to bank, ATMs, there won't be cash. And you will see somebody doing POS. No matter what amount you are looking for, we'll be able to give you. There's a simple way of solving. This is not a problem as far as I'm concerned. There is a problem because those who are to be regulator are not doing their job. How can you be a regulator and you will not direct or command the banks to ensure that they have social number of ATM in their place or in place, and that every 24 hours there must not be an excuse of no money at that ATM, or there must not be an excuse of you cannot take more than 5,000, 10,000. That will give advantage to certain people. So if in order to promote economic development, there must be cash. And if people are not able to get cash, there won't be trust in the system, because whenever you go to bank and you are not able to get your money, there will be a lot of permutation as to probably what is happening. Some people will even say the bank is going down. Some people will say this and that. So but because we are used to it, you will see a situation where the bank will not have money to give you, but the POS outside the bank will be able to give you whatever amount you are looking for. That is not enough for us. That's not good enough for us. The regulator too are not doing their work very well in terms of punishing people who have been found wanting in terms of not doing their job. They're playing their role very well. The banks who have been found wanting in terms of trying to play unfairness on the part of customers. When banks surcharge you and you report, the appropriate place you report to you don't have confidence that you get the desired result. Most times they dance to the tune of those the banks. They protect themselves. They see themselves as one, and therefore must be protected. The responsibility. The law regulating CBN is Banking and Other Financial Institutions Act, and also the CBN Act. This Financial Regulation and Other Institutions Act is a law that ensures that there is proper regulation. Most of the provisions in that law are not being complied with. Sometimes they do it with impunity, and nothing will happen. So, without proper financial regulation, you cannot get a proper economic system working in the country, and therefore there will be fraud everywhere. People will use that opportunity to surcharge order and nothing will happen.
That's a very good answer. Before Olumide comes in, though, you talked about the role of the regulator. I know that the CBN not too long ago put out a statement that anybody that has issues with withdrawing monies from the ATM should complain. Now, the thing is it enough to put out a statement like that? How easy would it be for me to complain if I want to, for example? How do you think the CBN can practically manage the situation, walking the talk, really?
You see, the CBN just like being part of Nigeria, and I will not be surprised when they make a pronouncement or statement and it's not being followed. Because our problem in Nigeria is not about policy directives, it's not about order, it's not about giving the instructions. It's about compliance with that instruction. It's about enforcement of it is. I just said it now that even when you complain, through which means are you going to complain? You have been surcharged of 5,000 or 2,000. Are you supposed to now, and they ask you to send a mail to a particular, let's even assume they create a platform where you can send a mail to complain, and you are not getting answer from it. Where do you go to? Nowhere. And when you call people, nobody answers you. Are you expected to go to Abuja or to go to Lagos if you stay in Ilorin or anywhere or any part of in Lagos, even far away, to go and complain about 2,000 naira? So they see those loopholes, the banks, and they exploit it because they know most Nigerians will not even care. You will look at the amount you have been surcharged, and you look at the cost to enforce or to even implement it or to complain about it. When you complain, when you are sure that once you send a mail, within an hour or so, you will get response and there will be action on it. Then it will work. But you don't see that. Now, sister, I have somebody who has since 2020. About 3 years now or so, she has problem with the bank, a particular bank. She was traveling to Turkey and she wants to use her ATM, and then there was a problem, and she complained immediately. The bank refused to take action, and thereafter the money was taken away from the bank, from the account. Unfortunately for them, she complained. When she complained to the bank. The bank acknowledged that she complained, but that there was a delay in taking action from them. Yet, they are not ready to pay back her money for negligence. And this has been dragging for long. So, how many people will even have the mind to pursue this? So, the point is that there is no proper channel to enforce this particular directive that the banks were also giving. They just make statements without proper follow-up. And as long as you continue to do that, everybody will just see that it's just a mere statement, nothing will happen. And that will be all. So CBN, just like Nigeria, we are in the same, it's an institution under the Nigerian system. And that is the way we are in our system. Our systems are just about directives, not about enforcement.
All right, thank you very much. Let's look at capital requirements and stress tests. Now, how do capital requirements and stress tests, how do they prevent financial crisis? Barrister, are you there? I think we have a problem with the network, but we'll try and say as much as if we can get him back. But I like some of the things he has said, especially that ATM, thing. Every weekend, the ATMs are always empty.
But this time now, it's not just limited to the weekends. Even weekdays now, most banks do not have monies in a machine. You will see, it's just like around here, just one particular bank. And so when you go, you see lots of people queued up waiting to get cash. And they tell you can't take more than this. You can't take more than this amount. And so, for example, you need a particular amount. You have to keep withdrawing and withdrawing and withdrawing, and they keep deducting monies as you withdraw. So there is a lot of rot in the banking system that must be sorted out. Now, the barrister was talking about the role of the regulator. He was saying you need to step up. You're not doing enough. I think you should continue your question.
Yes. So now, I went to the bank yesterday. It didn't occur to me to withdraw money in the banking premises because there's an ATM outside. So I expected that the ATM will be working. So I finished what I was doing in the bank, and I went outside and let me withdraw money. All the ATMs were empty. I was so angry I did not go back into the bank. I just went. Because I was like,
why?
Why?
Yeah.
The ATMs, about 5 ATMs, all empty. And so why are we having ATMs that are just empty, just lying there for no reason?
Yeah.
This ATM should be working. And just like you said, where you have ATMs, you have a POS person, and they always have cash.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, why is this so? So most times people even prefer to just walk to the POS. I mean, it's just 100 naira. That's what people say. It's just 100 naira. But if 10 people, if 100 people pay 100 naira, that's something.
And if you save 100 naira 10 times, you know, that's something. I think you were asking our guest about capital requirements and stress. He's back.
All right, Barrister, I would like to ask you how capital requirements and stress tests help prevent financial crisis.
Capital requirement in what form? If I may get you clearly, so that I won't.
Basically, it's about stress tests.
It's basically about stress test. You know, I mean, recently, I think about 2 banks, the federal government had to take over 2 banks. I can't remember those 2 banks.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. That's why recently the CBN gave directives regarding the capital for each banks. In other words, if a national bank, if you have a bank that has a local this and that, you have a minimum of what you must have as capital base for you to operate, and that will help to sustain the bank. In other words, if there's a problem with the bank, there's a guarantee that the customers or will not lose their money. But unfortunately, it's been difficult for us to do now these days, because sometimes these things have been there's a deceit in these things. Sometimes most banks will not have this capital, enough capital, but it will be protected underneath by certain people, and then they will continue to work, and then they won't see the real issue on ground. And then you see, until we begin to do things without fear of people, until we begin to do things without being, it's my friend, it's my brother, it's this and that. That sentiment, those sentiments are the reason why we're not getting where we're going. There are capital requirements for banks, and it must be there. That's to ensure that there's a solid foundation for anybody that's going into banking. And that's why you see, you cannot just come up and say you are operating just like ordinary business, that you can incorporate and have 1 million naira share capital. In banking system, there's other requirements. You must have a particular what's it called, a capital for you to be able to say, look, I want to become a bank, and that's to ensure that stress you are talking about is taken care of. But before I go to the other side, let me also say that, look, you mentioned one issue that you say it's not just one naira.
Yes.
That is if you are collecting small money. Recently, I did a transfer of POS, not even transfer. Yes, I did a transfer, or I did a POS of 2 million. I'm not collecting cash. Just transfer. I pay 40K.
Wow.
40K. I was looking at it. I said, come on. But I have to do it. At that time, I was under pressure to do certain things. And if I don't do it, that's the only place available for me to do. So I have to do it. I don't have the opportunity at that time to use another form. So I was forced to do it. And I pay as much as 40K for transferring 2 million naira. Can you imagine?
40,000, that's someone's salary, really.
Can you imagine? So I think and you see the complaint of no money at ATM is not something that is new. The CBN is hearing this every day. What are they doing? I'm not seeing anything being done. If they're truly interested in coping this crisis of no money at the bank or no money at ATM or whatever, they will be able to do it. But there's an allegation by people that most of these POS that we're talking about are owned by people who are in charge of our system. In other words, the owners of the POS system. I'm not talking about even those who are maintaining it now or managing it. The production of that POS itself. Those who own them. Some of them are part of the system, and that is why you are seeing what you're seeing. So it's all about corruption. It's all about corruption. It's all about selfish interest, and that's why you see what we are seeing. But without proper financial regulation, there will be crisis in the system. The system will not be stable at all. Then there will be a lot of fraud, and this is what we are seeing today. Because most times people are being defrauded. If you ask me how much they charge me every day, I don't know. When you do this kind of transaction, they charge you. At the end of the month, they'll give you another charge.
Yes.
So I don't even know. Sometimes I will see my balance. I will see like and I won't mention. I'll just see like they will say available balance. that would be a particular amount. You now see like over 100,000. Again, you now see book balance.
Yes.
You now see that will now be like 200,000 or 100,000 above what they call. That means I cannot collect that one. How they generate it, I don't know. And unfortunately for me, even as a lawyer, I find it difficult to go to bank and complain and even make noise about it. One day, I hope I will have that chance. I will engage my forensic auditors. Then I will take it up with them.
You should take it up, because until people like you and I begin to fight, these people will continue to do what they're doing. I mean, take for example the matter you talked about earlier on, and you called it an allegation that these bankers, some of these major players in the banking industry, are the ones who man the POS industry, the production of the machine and all of that. If there is an iota of truth in this matter, it must be investigated. And if it's responsible for the no cash policy in ATMs, then it must be probed. And the people who are called...
When I say production here, I'm talking about supply of it.
Okay, the supply. The supply of it. Yeah, noted. If they are the ones responsible, the issue must be probed and brought to bed, really. So this begs the question, what role does transparency play in fostering trust in the financial system?
That is exactly what I'm saying. I've been saying that, you see, most times there's no transparency in our system.
Yeah.
You don't even know what charges is being levied against you. Like, for instance, now, people are asking questions. Vis-a-vis the tax reform bill. They collect 50K or 50 naira on every transaction or whatever. That is there. I'm not aware that law has been repealed, or it will be repealed by the new bill. I'm not aware of that. There are other levy that are being charged in this whatever you do transaction. We don't know most of these things, so there's no enough transparency regarding the charges being by the banks and the CBN, who's supposed to protect us, because that is the work of the regulator, is to ensure that we are not surcharged, is to ensure that we're not defrauded by in quotes, and then the proper things are done. Then we're not seeing that. So there's no enough transparency in our system, and as long as there's no enough transparency, that will give room for corruption. That will give room for people manipulating and surcharging others. So, and it's not good for our system. That will erase the trust that people have in the system.
All right, which brings me to the big question: regulation. What challenges do regulators face in enforcing financial regulations across the global market? Is it a political thing or something? What challenges do you think that these regulators are facing, trying to regulate, the market?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never worked in a bank. I've never worked in any private or public sector. I've always been on my own or working as a private man. So I may not be able to know, but I know as in Nigeria that one of the major problems we're having is political influence. Sometimes these institutions are not independent. They don't have their own mind. And another pressure or another problem they have is about money. They will just want to generate money. They don't want to know how this affects others. What their own interest is about making money. And so most times they seem to be protecting those they are supposed to be regulating. They seem to be serving as a protector for them, because most time when you complain, they are quick to throw away your complaint and in favor of the banks. I've seen so many complaints to CBN. I've had so many meetings at the CBN. I've had some resolved in my favor, and the majority were not even attended to. Talk less of even being considered. So unfortunately, the one that I was able to resolve in my favor was because I have an insider who helped me push my claim, and that was how they gave me the opportunity to come and explain to them. Others, they don't even call you. They just dispatch it and say there's no case in it. That's all. Because most Nigerians don't have that energy of going to court all the time, because going to court to challenge it is also it consumes time, and it's money. You can't go to court with that money. Even if you are doing it yourself as a lawyer, you will spend money, no matter how little. The only money you will not spend is professional fee. You at least no matter how little you spend, and the timing there as well is also there. So for me, I will not be able to know most of the difficulty they are facing, but the major difficulty I know they may be facing is lack of independence, lack of independence, and sometimes those in charge are selfish and lack of capacity probably or our inability to enforce the directive that has been given to, based on sentiment, which sentiment can be political, can be other consideration. And that's why I think I can bring out in that.
Okay.
All right. Right before we go, let's look at this. This is also important. What are some of the examples of economic crises, that were mitigated by effective financial regulation? I mean, if you have any, or if you've witnessed any, would you like to share with us?
Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Yeah, the lack of money in the system is crisis. It's financial crisis. Lack of remember the time when the former CBN governor said he's changing our naira. There was a crisis with that, and then you see this a regulation regarding exchange rates. It's also a crisis, and that's one of the reasons why we are where today. The regulation of our system has caused a significant devaluation of our naira, and our naira is not getting any better.
Barrister,
in fact,
Barrister, let me come in here. You've been brilliant on the show, and I wish we could go on though, but this is the much we could take though. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and your insights, much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's my privilege. I appreciate it. Thank you.